This is about the story of Adam and Eve. I just found out the truth. Let's dig into it.
Yeah, the microphone is working. Happy weekend, everyone. You don't have to give a fuck about the devices I'm using to pass the message. All you gotta have to do is just to listen to the message. Forget about the messenger. So basically today, I'm here to talk about the story that we all know about Abel and Cain. We all know the story about Abel and Cain, that there were two children of Adam and Eve, and both of them had to render a sacrifice. And one rendered fruits, veggies to the god, which was Abel, and the other one rendered animal, a sacrificed animal to the god, or rather to the gods. I don't know which gods they were talking about, which kind of god they were talking about. So Abel's sacrifice was actually accepted, but Cain's sacrifice wasn't accepted, which means that based on the story, your creator chooses a favorite one over another one. And we forget that the creator has the power of both good and evil. He creates both good and evil. But when one of the child makes his life easier, like not stressful, he accommodates you. But the other one that kills animals to sacrifice to him, he sees that one as a bad child, whereby it was is doing. It made sure that this child is made of evil. And the first one, Abel, is made of good. So you see, he knew what was going to happen, but at the same time, he was playing games on his own children, whereby the other one that was bad killed the other one that was good based on the times of the Bible. It killed him, and that was the end of him. So, how crazy can it be that why God that created his own children is supposed to be their guardian to guide them through what they will pass through, on their lessons on this planet? Instead of him to lecture them, guide them, you are good, okay, let me guide you to what will benefit you, your soul, and you that you are bad, let me redirect your energy on what you can do. That the badness can be useful because sometimes we do bad things for a good reason, yeah? Fact. So if you get it, you get it. So nowadays, it's happening right from the beginning of time to this moment. Okay, let's talk about Jesus Christ. They said God used the blood of his son, his favorite son, to cleanse the other children that are his children, but not his children at the same time because they are bad. They are full of evil. But he used the one that is innocent, the pure one, that has a good blood, good gene, good morals. He uses blood to wash away the sins of the other ones that he wants to punish in hell. What kind of a fucked up God does that to his favorite son? And also the story of Abel. You see what happened to Abel? Abel was killed by the other one that God didn't accept. And y'all think that that's actually normal. So basically, he sucked the blood of his child to watch away other children that are bad, which means God is a vampire. He's bad and good. Nowadays, it's happening in every home, every parent. They give birth to one, two, three children. Then they choose one out of the three as the favorite. I get it when a parent give birth to one child, they spoil the child anyhow which way they can based on what they don't have, based on that they have only one child and they have to provide for the child. But on the other hand, when they give birth to two, three, four children, they choose a favorite. They choose the favorite based on the fact that that favorite made their life easy. He's obedient or she's obedient. She does what they want. She plays by the rule. He plays by the rule. Does everything that they want. So they can have peace without arguing, without, But the other child that demands for explanation, that wants to know why, what, when, ask them questions, they tends to make the child to be the bad one, and they choose that one over the good one, which means that you know what parents actually do? They create chaos, they create war among the children, whereby this child, you know, doesn't do what they want, disturbs them, challenges them, questions them, and they find it so difficult for them to, to be part of it because they don't want the child or the children to ask them questions. So they favor the one that doesn't, or the ones that doesn't ask questions. They take care of you, give you what you need, whatever you want, they provide it for you. But the other one, they don't provide. So that tends the other one's energy and makes that one to become more brutal, more evil, more aggressive, all because the child is just an inquisitive child, wants to know what's really playing, what's really going on. Why can't you question your father or your mother? Why can't you question your creator? If God created you in his own image, it means you are him, is you. So you see that it's actually really, really crazy there. So it means the parents, what you gotta do. Before I continue, first of all, I'm a part of this, I was born into a family of five. I'm the fourth child, so I know what I'm talking about because this happens in every home. Every fucking goddamn home on this planet, this happens, except the ones that they've already figured it out and they know how to, to bypass it and make sure that they can deal with it and make sure that it doesn't really get out of hand. All you gotta do is when you have a child or children, they come with their own ability. All you gotta do is guide them through, so they can use their ability for the betterment of the planet, of Mother Nature, animals, trees, everything in it, humans, everything you can mention of that is created by God, both good and evil, because God created both good and evil. So no need to discriminate one child from the other child, because one makes you feel at peace, or probably one doesn't disturb you, doesn't challenge you. That's actually wrong. So parents got a lot of work to do. Parents are supposed to be guardians, not controllers. You don't control your children, because when you do that, they're gonna come back for you. Because you one day you're gonna get old, they're gonna feel more superior than you, and they're gonna challenge you, and they're gonna treat you at the same way you've just treated them. So that's that. So on the other hand, about Abel and Cain, Abel and Cain has been a very, very lucrative story from the day one. I read this in the storybook, kid storybook. So Abel actually stands for African. Abel is an African person, and Cain is a Caucasian person. So you can see that Abel and Cain. Abel was born on the soil whereby everything is abundance, everything is fruitful. There's trees everywhere, rain falls, there's fruits, there's veggies, so they have food in abundance. All they gotta do is enjoy, lecture each other, inculcate each other, you know, build each other up to advance, to learn, to understand. Everyone was supposed to be, building their lives all together because everything was given to them. So that is the African land. So the Caucasian, which means a white man that was brought up in a soil whereby it's always snowy and there's no fruit, no food around. So so this man has no choice but to live in the cave, to find shelter in the cave, to protect himself from the cold, from wild animals. So on the other hand, this guy had no choice. And what he got to do was he had no choice but to start, hunting other animals, eating them alive. Takes their meat, bite it, eat it to stay alive. Take their skin, cover himself in the cave to stay alive. So over time, you see that the challenges of this Caucasian man was not easy. He was born in a place, he was put in a place whereby he had to challenge himself because nothing was given in abundance. So later on, he later realized that he had to move further because the only time he has a chance to get some food is during summer, and summer just lasts for a few months. So it ain't easy. So the man realized like, oh, I have to go somewhere else. If this sun can come to this place sometimes in a year, I don't know how to calculate the months, days back then. So he realized if it could be in one place and it could be snowy, which is so offensive, and it could be sunny, whereby natural stuffs grow. That means there's somewhere where there is just the sun, only sun. So he kept moving. Then he found out about another land where there's Abel. And he saw that Abel had everything in abundance. Abel doesn't have to work for anything. Abel was actually living good, living with other animals, other creatures, because there was food for every single creature, from the biggest animal to the wildest animal to the softest animal. They were everything. And basically, if you can really, really check it out, you would observe that there are some animals here, particularly that they are related to human beings. Like what I mean, animals like cow, sheep, horse. You know, I love animals like that because we like we have the same type of teeth. So this type of animals, shows that we are the guidance of these animals, whereby we're supposed to make sure that these wild animals, the ones with a fang like a vampire, the ones that can bite, that can, they can smash you, that can clock you, do whatever they want to you because they gotta feed, they gotta survive. All everything is about feeding, and there's all food that you can ever dream of in the soil. So we were supposed to, guide them to know each other. They could feed, they could show love to one another, create a kind of hierarchy whereby all animals sees that to stay alive, it's not about feeding on one another. But the purpose is to love one another and grow together, protect one another.